guts to call him up. Walk around as if you never cared.
Looking out on the day of another dream, where you can't get what you want, but you can get me. So let's set out to see, 'cause you are my medicine when you're close to me, when you're close to me.
What's up, guys? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Hello, everyone. Good to see everyone on here. Edgar Friso. What's up, James? Mr. Kevin Block. What's good? Harshi. Patrick. Got filming with Luis, Dan, Amy, Joe, Alfredo, Taylor. Good morning. Corey. Jesus. What's up, Noah? Vaughn. Edwin. Hello, hello. Caius. Seth. All right, let's get in here. Let's dive into the Price is Right. All right, so let's do a quick recap. We'll kick things off with Dow from yesterday. So we had a couple opportunities around here, a couple setups. Now we saw Dow working its way down slowly but surely. And then a couple hours into the session, right around 11 a.m. Central, so about 2.5, 3 hours after New York Open, we finally got the big crash, right? The big push down. This is the one that really we were waiting for, right? We wanted to see, as we talked about opportunities yesterday, as much as we wanted to see some sort of distribution with indices. I personally just didn't get the entry that I would have preferred. We did end up getting NASDAQ up here. But based on the way that everything was dropping, the way that we came down and right back up, wasn't in love with the selling opportunity. It looked like it was going to be a potential buy scenario over here. So we saw it come into here, got a reversal, came crashing back down. So in this example, right, and I don't remember if this one was live or not. This might have been after the fact. But anyways, yeah, this came into play. Oh, no, this was live. This came in, gave us a good rejection. Stops to reduce risk or break even. Some of you maybe took profit, and then the market came crashing down. The momentum of indices yesterday. Let me actually get both setups up here. So let's go to screen. All right. Here we go. Right, so we end up getting NQ to just, go on a mission here. Starts to drop pretty quickly, going lower and lower and lower. So there's just way more momentum on NQ side, just absolutely tackling on a lot of these lows. Lows that at least, I had some marked up here for NQ. It's just some good classic setups. But since NQ is pushing its way down first, definitely was not as interested. So once we finally saw Dow take out New York session, Tuesdays, New York lows, London session lows, and got into this zone over here. So once we saw a clearance of quite a bit of liquidity, then suddenly I am now interested. So we take out all of that price action. We come right back up. We're moving sideways. And this is where, if I can get into the 1 minute over here, here's where I had a setup that went well until it did not. So here we had, right, the push down. Here's the huge crash. Now, the massive drop that created an imbalance started from up here. We get one more move to the upside before another push down here. And here, if you have access to the seconds time frame, then you would be able to see this a bit better. And I shared this, but just a little too late, honestly, But we had a push down here with the 15 second. So you see like a 54 point drop before we get a reversal. So we get the reversals. We get the market to push about over 75 points. So here, went into profit. Things were looking good. And then that was it. That's all she wrote. Market kept pushing down from here. So had I had a more aggressive stop management, could have been another stop, just break even type of situation. But I was more so focused on, at least getting a drop from here, 100 points or like something like this. So I did kind of have a bit more of a hopeful, I wouldn't even say hopeful. I guess I was just a bit more ambitious with my trade management. I wasn't as like, let me make sure for sure we just move it right away. So anyways, with all that being said, that led to more bearish momentum. From this point on, it definitely became about just waiting. So the market, sure, kept pushing lower. At this point, what is the confirmation for an entry? The market kept pushing lower and lower. We saw it break below. It hasn't quite been able to shift directions yet. We get to, this is the 5-minute high. The market starts to just squeeze over here. We get another push down. So this is the current low that we're in. So we have the lower lows, lower highs. I would consider this the current, lower low. And this right here is the 5-minute structure. Like if you look at structure-wise, you're seeing this right now. Yes, there was a pullback within the range right here. But in my opinion, this is not shifting the overall momentum. This is kind of like a cool 1-minute time frame shift in structure. But the 5-minute, everything else is still pushing back down. So Dow Jones still sitting in a bearish structure. If you look at NASDAQ as well, like if we just go back here, NQ starts to drop significantly less. So right now, if we're looking at just clean market structure on how this is coming along, we had lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. We dip down to here, immediately come back up. And so, sure, now we're starting to get NASDAQ with a bit more momentum to the upside, closing more bullish as it worked its way all the way over to here. And so, is there a clean zone for buys or for sells? We see shorts from over here, pretty big drop. Market comes up, chops up a little bit. So there's an imbalance over here. This I see. Of course, if we zoom out a little bit, if we zoom out, we are looking at a 1-hour time frame structure that we're currently retracing within. So do we have further confirmation that the market can work its way further down? Like, if you were to look at this, does it seem like it's done retracing, or do we have more that we can work our way down to? If I'm looking at NQ here, to me, it looks like, we still got more room to go. And especially taking a look at Dow Jones has significantly a lot more to work its way into over here. So I do believe that we'll see indices continue to work its way lower. At the moment, if we look at how deep of a retracement we've seen on this structure, on this time frame, and Q sitting at around a 38.2 pullback now. Dow over here, right above 38.2 as well. So structure wise, we're definitely moving to the downside. I wouldn't say we've fully worked our way all the way down. Can we get some bounces on the way up? Sure. But I mean, transparently, I would love to be able to join the momentum to the downside. So, do we have options? Said you also left your stop loss open on that setup. Yeah, waiting to see if we got a bigger mitigation. Cool. Yeah, we're on the same page. I mean, not the biggest thing in the world. Loss is a loss. Yesterday, we end up sniping the lows on metals. So if you were in silver, I mean, right now, let's say you have, 5 R potential, depending on how you manage this trade. If you went, stop loss, break even, reduce risk, whatever, this may have played out for you. If you took gold instead, after we got this liquidity sweep here, this was the absolute low. The timing of the buys on metals were the absolute low. And the market has traveled, what is it, like almost 1,400 pips since here. So really, really good setup. Hopefully you were able to just trade that in whatever follows like your system. That may have led to good results or, nothing maybe. But at least, you were in position to have some success with this setup. Now, and we've seen, if we're thinking relative to where we're at over here, we're seeing gold really pick up a lot of momentum. Same thing with silver. And we can dive into this here later on, but there is, in my opinion, a lot of liquidity that's building up over here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a nice push down, trading down into these levels, see if we get another setup, because big picture, the accumulation is definitely making sense. So just like we talked about yesterday, yeah, it looks good. If you guys have setups, you want to share, feel free to. Let's see, we have Toby, some good stuff. Oh, nice. Just escaped getting stopped out there. Yeah, and this is what we talked about a couple of days ago, right? The shorts out of this zone. I was waiting for some correlation to be able to sneak in there. But good job holding. I think, how you manage your stop is definitely a big element. Or did you get stopped out here and then you went for a second setup over there? Yeah, great trade, man. You're on one. Let's go. Wait, are you hedging right now? You're in both? What a guy. Legit. Good stuff, man. Okay, so yeah, if you guys have setups, you can drop it in this section here, the We're Alive, for the announcement for today. You know what, Vaughn, with this idea, the one thing that I'm curious about is, you see how we broke above, came right back in here, and then just left. We just left. Just fully sent this thing. So I feel like this might be a mitigation right here, based on the way that it rejected right there. What's up? Hola, Lizzie. Los subtítulos en español no se me da, porque la transmisión la tengo básicamente sin retraso, entonces no me da oportunidad de tener ahí los subtítulos. All right, so I do like the idea if it wasn't for the fact that it came up and back down here right away. Okay, so Right now, if you're looking at this Dow setup or NQ, we haven't quite worked our way all the way down to these other levels of retracement here. So we got a long way to go. There's a couple moves that you could consider, but I'm cool on it. I mean, we have New York Open happening in this instant. So it looks like, could this be a accumulation on the 15? You see the market sweep liquidity, come back up. Not that it made higher highs, but within this structure, it starts to push higher. So let's go over here again. All right, here we go. So if we're looking at the current setup, we have here the current structure. And for me, ideally, we can sneak our way into a short somewhere here. The question is where? For now, we're seeing Dow clear London highs, Tokyo highs here, trading into this zone. Here we had a nice push to the upside before everything came crashing down. That's what we're in right now. And I was going to say, here's where you can typically see the, end of New York session. It pumped up before everything rallied, before everything dropped. So is this enough to look for? Can you get a 1 minute mitigation setup here? I see it. The only thing I don't like about this is the fact that we still, Dow is moving up first. It's going bullish first, so it has a higher likelihood of rejection. Plus, this already mitigated here. It came into the zone, and that was the high of Asian session. So you see the actual reversal right there. Oh, my bad. Here. Meanwhile, NQ slowly working its way into some of this imbalance from London. This could work its way a little bit higher up into this zone. Right now we're seeing YM reject this level very strongly. Very, very aggressively. So it looked like Dow went for liquidity sweeps first, so way more aggressive to the upside. NQ very slow. So, this dropped probably 50 pips already, 50 points already. Since it's got bullish direction to kick things off, it's not a trade I take. Right now, we saw the beginning of New York Open push down aggressively. Take a few minutes out of liquidity and then keep rallying, but not enough for me to make a decision or anything, trade anything here. So, again, staying out of Dow sells. And then where can we find a NASDAQ sell? Where does it make sense? We saw the market pump up here, drop, come back up again. Looks like it closes out this bullish momentum. So trading above these areas, we don't really have clear signs over here. Everything looks relatively efficient. Pullbacks are good again and again. And now we're looking at, okay, well, is there a structure here where we can see reversals? Sadly, not really. So I'm open to ideas. Maybe we get maybe we get to see the market clear, let's say these London Asian session highs over here. We take those out, lose momentum, maybe a new setup forms. But based on what I'm seeing right now, not so much. Dow is kind of like really aggressively up, down, way back up, right back down. So this is typically something that could be luring in. This is stirring emotions right now. The volatility that Dow has, it's like, are you going to miss the move to the upside? Wait, no, it's crashing now. What if you're going to FOMO? You're going to miss the move to the downside. But what's the trade? Is there a trade? Maybe there's no trade. And that's my take with Dow. I'm not looking to do anything here. I'm chilling. If we start to see 1 minute structure, like if we start to truly establish bullish structure here, and we actually stay above these highs here. So let's say we keep trading higher and we can maintain some structure, then okay, cool. I'm open to buys. But if that's not happening, then I'm not going to look to chase this, because this, bigger picture, this could be a reaccumulation if we're looking at it from that perspective. So we'll see. We'll let the market continue to give us a bit more direction here. Looking at metals, we've yet to come back down. So after we saw that gold drop here, clearing liquidity, the market came up, moved sideways, and then rallied. So gold at the moment looks like it has some potential. Here was a sweep down that we didn't really come back down to. So I do think we may get an idea where we get to these extremes. Outside of that, I don't really see entries except for, here we go. We can compare these. But gold picked up a lot of momentum here. So we saw a nice push down. We had London session moving sideways. And then we had one more push down to here before we've started to rally. At the moment, I don't have a higher high on the 5 minute. This failed. It came right back down. So the demand here is questionable. If we keep trading higher, cool, then maybe we look for an entry here. But if that's not the case, then I'm going to wait until heavy pullbacks. Now, with that being said, does that mean that there are selling opportunities for metals here? And I also don't really see it there. All right, let me make sure I'm logged in here. All right, so for sells, the sells that I had were for gold all the way up here. This was Tuesday, New York Open, takes the highs and then melts. Here we already traded out of, rejected out of this position, seeing that drop. Here we had that clearance of these highs, pulls back in, comes back, it reverses into this imbalance and then drops down. So could we be seeing a mitigation of this push higher? To me, it looks like we already did that, so I'm not leaning towards trading in there by any means. So right now, I'm waiting for gold to get up to here before any shorts. Now we've seen Dow continue to push higher here, break above these highs, or actually basically make equal highs over here. All right, that's establishing, it's reaching new levels for the day. See if it's something it wants to hold or not. NASDAQ isn't quite breaking these highs yet, so not really sweeping liquidity, session liquidity. You have S&P that's on its way. So, okay, we'll stay on the lookout there. Meanwhile, let's pull up some of the things that we were looking for. Some of these ideas. Australian dollar has picked up a lot of momentum to the upside here. GU started to, after taking out here, took out Asian session lows and then started to push higher. Euro had a similar trajectory. Right now, the idea that stands out to me still is with shorts on GBP. In this zone. Still waiting on this one. This this GU buy, we're still ways away from, so I'll keep that over there. But this is the one that currently makes sense. Here's where we saw the pump to the upside, took out liquidity, and then you saw the CPI drop. So market could come back here, give us an option. Now I'm assuming you guys are looking at something like this as well, where you're thinking, okay, here we had a big sell-off, took out London lows, Tokyo lows, and then even New York lows here before creating a higher high. But this is like not the 5 minute. This is a small time frame shift, so it doesn't give you the most conclusive structure. You look at Euro, similar, spike down, not as aggressive, but it's way more bullish. Like price action is just staying strong up here. We have the yen, which had already rejected over here before. Yen still pushing further and further down. This is leaving tons of selling zones behind. Like tons of them. And the yen worked its way all the way down to here. All the way down to these lows that it had made. But remember, like, this is just continuing in the bearish structure. So we're not really, markets don't have to hold in here or anything like that. So we saw price work its way down into this area before reversing. However, just as quickly as it's working its way up, it's also working its way back down. So no clear signs there. Good setup right now. We have, during Asian session Wednesday, you had NASDAQ mitigate this and then rally. So anyone take NZD. Here you had a good setup. Any NZD traders in here? What you guys got? No new super chat. Okay, that's cool. All right. So to actually give some more perspective, I think you have another option at NQ or NZD. So 6N, nice sweep down. We get a clean sweep of a little bit of liquidity here before the market rallies. Has been pushing further and further along. So, you know, seeing a shift in structure on the 5 minute for sure. Seeing the market want to start turning things around on the higher time frames. We're getting a accumulation here. So market's looking solid actually for buy positions. When we see these types of movements happen during Asian session, you know this is more so NZD influenced, these kind of moves. Then you can even go look at high impact news as well and see, you know, was there something going on? new information, new data, etc. So we didn't have NZD news yesterday specifically, but you do have, you always have new updates regarding whether it's just macroeconomics, tariffs, etc. And so this is a good, clean setup. You see the liquidity sweep, the market rallied, created imbalance, fortified structure. So when we see the sweep here, continuation where we've been trading above here, this looks like a good trade. Let me look and compare to Australian. So you see Australian made a similar move. The issue with this Australian move is that this just created more liquidity. So I would actually be curious to see how Australian works its way down, and if it starts to dip down to there actually faster. Here is the 1 hour. We see a little sweep up before it all comes together and it all drops. So is Nas at an area? Not exactly. I wouldn't sell here. This looks like it's already mitigated, done its thing here. So I'm chilling. But we're definitely about to see, it looks like we're about to see a sweep of London or an Asian session highs. And we're seeing Dow Jones rejecting what looks like to be one of the many bullish candles before significant drops here. Looks like it took care of mitigated up here, just this candle. So if you're looking at NASDAQ here, yesterday during New York, we see it clear the highs, pull back down, come back into here right away. Is this the exchange from buyers to sellers? Or was this just reacting off the order block? In my opinion, the way we aggressively dropped, this already looks like we kind of see the swap of money. So, could you pull the trigger because now it's sweeping liquidity, like session liquidity? Like if it goes above here, should you take a sell in here and just kind of guess? Does that sound like something a professional trader should do? Probably not. If you're under the impression that this was the exchange, the sell from the buy here, then it doesn't really make sense. Now, if you're like, well, it's taking out tons of liquidity, you know what? It's fine enough for me, and I have data behind it. Cool, run it up. I would prefer. And I'd say I'm a bit more, maybe I like an extra confirmation, but I'm cool. Like I want to see it take out the highs. I've been saying this is probably what it's going to do. And then seeing it drop back in, we get some demand, and then we can get the short and ride the wave further down. This I'm totally open to. We've already seen Dow take care of liquidity across the board and play into these levels. So cool. Yeah. So I'm in. That's really it for now. We just kind of let's give this some time for indices. I have it pulled up. I have another chart here pulled up on the side. So if we come back up to these levels, we'll be chilling. So we can take a look at a couple other things. But yeah, right now we are in, this is the broom, right? This is sweeping the liquidity at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if we reverse from here. just because it is taking that out. But of course, like you guys seen it all the time too. Yesterday, the market takes out liquidity. It takes out the session liquidity, and it just kept going and going and going and going. So you can't just trade what you want to happen. It's not about trading what, that you want to be in the market already. You want to make and remember, there's this, and this is, we'll go main cam mode. Oh, whoa, this is so bright. But here's the thing that I think messes with a lot of expectations. So thank you, Nance, with the Cayman clutch here. So when you've been in the market or you've been watching the market for, let's say, 30 minutes, an hour, and even longer, the more time you're watching the candles print, the more time that you're seeing the market move without you, the more inclined you are to get into the market. The more you're going to rationalize taking a position. Why? Most people in the world right now are conditioned to make money by the hour. Some have a salary, which in itself usually means you're still getting paid by the hour anyways. So you want it to be worth your time. So if you're looking and you're spending time with the market, eventually that your subconscious wiring with how money works for you, you're like, whether you realize it or not, like you want to make the most out of it. So you'll rationalize, well, liquidity this kind of looks like this, and if you flip it upside down and you count backwards, it's got to be an entry. So remember, don't let your subconscious beliefs, don't let how we've been constructed all these years, don't let that be the reason that you're just not taking the trades you're supposed to, or you're staying out of the market when you're supposed to. So right now, as much as cool, liquidity sweep, great. This one's kind of lagging behind a little bit more, great. If this didn't already fit something that you had pre-written, that you already have basically a template for, then it's nothing for you to do there. Wait it out. All right. Anyways, now going into NZD here. If what we see is this, right? The market works its way up here, clears these highs, unsustainable, drops back in, great. Pulls back up again, no dice. Just keeps working its way down. Works its way down, clears liquidity, rebalances, mitigates, works its way right back up. So if we're looking at structure, we've been bearish with NZD. So the market's in a downtrend at the moment. We had lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. These highs are just keep breaking, and there's just not enough demand. Got it. The high that it made over here did clear substantial amounts of liquidity. Great. So does that mean that there's potential for shorts as well? What do you guys think? For me, it looks to me, I think there is. We see an aggressive move to the upside over here. The market does not have sufficient demand at these prices. So NZD, there's not enough money wanting to pay this price. So market drops down. Market drops down. Same thing happens here. We mitigate the sell. Buys come in. So now we're kind of in between two zones. What do? This was end of Asian session Wednesday. Here is, this is end of Tuesday going into Wednesday's session for Asian session. And then this was Wednesday's Asian session as well. So you have both. Both of these are more or less Aussie NZD related. You go look at Australian, but what are you noticing here? They're a bit different. Australian also, it has actually equal highs over here. So it looks to me like the market could reject this move up here, but this ends up making liquidity anyways. So I'd say that's a vulnerable sell, which is not one I want to be in. So I could see Australian pushing higher, which could also lead to NZD kind of getting into this zone and taking a short here. So I'm curious to see what happens with both. I feel good about buys. I feel good about shorts. But with NZD, I would be mindful of how is it trading relative to Australian too, since they're correlated, and see what that can show us here. All right. So here is NZD. So let's start our setups here for the day. Today's setups. It's 23rd. All right, NZD. So this is 6N. Publish this one here. So here we go, NZD buys and sells. Pending mitigation on both sides of this. The sweep to the upside takes out plenty of liquidity on the higher time frame, while the buys look like accumulation. Either setup valid, but be mindful of AUD and the liquidity it's building up. It's building up. Liquidity sweeps of AUD would further confirm these setups. Okay. All right, NZD. All right. Cool. So I'm just starting. I'm posting these here. I figured, maybe someone random will see this, and then yeah, you guys can follow along on this here too. You can just click play on there, and you'll see it play out over time. And then I'm not sure what this little rocket ship boost thing does, but if you guys want to add comments or notes in here, feel free to as well. All right, so let me share this here. Okay. Cool. And then look at that, GBP. So this is the beauty of not taking the aggressive move that's coming down, right? We talked about that, so got to avoid any losses there. And I guess I'll share this one too, since I don't know when we're going to get here, but if we do, I don't remember if I've already posted. Did I already share GBP yet or no? Let's see. Gold versus silver. All Here was the shorts that we were waiting for. Well, that was nice. If only I wouldn't have gotten tagged out of this one. So that was clean. Anyone could have taken that one. All right, so anyways, I haven't sent GBP. Cool, so we'll send this one too. Can I record a video? This way, like, I know some of you maybe want to go back to this and understand it. Like, oh, what did this mean? So I wonder, mics are set there. Allow. Yeah. All right. Ooh, trippy. Cool. All right, anyway, so yeah, with the pound, we had this sweep of these highs, taking out liquidity, filling this imbalance. This gave us a confirmation of structure. So we had lower lows, lower highs, lower lows now. So structure is bearish. Despite coming back in to fill imbalance, we didn't quite get up to mitigating this level here. So considering a lot of the other dollar pairs are trading significantly higher, seems like we're going to work our way up to here a lot more slowly, which should respect the structure that we're in right now. And then giving this the opportunity to take home. Honestly, I think conservatively about a 3R, depending on how we work our way up, could be more, could be less, but seems pretty good for at least a 3R exit, at least for now. So this is the pound. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like it records in like awful quality though. Maybe because I'm too wide for these settings. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Gotta draw the magnet. Wait, what's up? For liquidity, or are we talking about? Yeah, so this quality looks terrible, right? I'm going to go continue with it, and then we'll see 6B, okay, GBP, USD. Oh, I'll just write it like this. Textbook, mitigation, opportunity. All right. I probably have to switch up the like how I'm recording it or something. Too brief of a description. All right, whatever. Correlations also meet confirmations. All right, so here it is. Let me edit this here. So that's the pound as well. 6B, GBP, USD. Video explanation. Working on why quality is so trash for this video. Okay, cool. There you go. All right, you have it in picture format, video format, linked every which way. Okay, so now we're starting to see it slow down after clearing liquidity, trading up to this level. Meanwhile, Dow Jones over here, big crash. All right, okay. All right, so this is now giving a very different type of perspective with the market, right? We pumped up to here to kick things off. New York Open started off very aggressive, and then we were able to, things reversed the last 15 minutes or so. So we worked our way all the way down to here. This is starting to give signs of a good time. We've been moving sideways for about 7-8 minutes or so. So this looks like a potential sell from here, and then ride this thing. In my opinion, we would just keep riding this thing down, at least to crack this London low, if not Tokyo lows as well. So something like this is what I would be looking for. Considering we've now taken out all of this liquidity, right? This broke above by 126.7 points or so before crashing right back down. So clearly we see that there's just not that much demand for Dow at these prices. Not enough money is willing to come in at these prices specifically. Yeah, Oanda chart looks different. That could be very true. The reality is that with CFD charts, right, they're going to make this chart look like whatever they want it to look like. Either way, I mean, it takes out the highs. It's just not as aggressive of a move to the upside. If you look at this on, let's see, like forex.com, similar. If you're looking at this with oh, my bad. I went into the future. Here we go. So yeah, you just had one more move. The CP, I think this was CPI, just really spiked this up before tanking. Liquidity sweep on US 30. What's up? Yeah, this right here, that's what it looks like. Now I would just I want the pullback now. Now that we've done this, one more push up, and then we're good. I'm in there if that's the case. So we'll see now. Now that after we've gone up and down, like I said, now it's just a matter of time. So I'm gonna place an alert so I'm ready if we get to these areas. Also, our view of your face cam is small as hell. Right now, like in OBS. Oh, it's so tiny. Dude, that's so funny. Why is this so tiny? What happened? That is so funny. I didn't even notice that. That was so funny. Oh my god. Is that why people are staying on the stream today? They're like, yo, thank God I can finally, now I don't have to look at this guy. We'll just play Where's Mike? I'm just gonna be spawning in different parts of the place. So here's where I would get in. Here's how I'm gonna mark my entries. Right here. Sell here. Right over here. And that's what we're waiting for. Market gets to where I am. Hit the sell button. I don't know why I thought that was so funny. That little warrior from Night at the Museum. Throwback. All right. I'll stop fucking around here. Cool. All right, so that takes care of majors. We looked at metals. We can take we check in here again. Great. Oil, man. What a move. What a move. So yeah, Vaughn, to what you mentioned, you know, either it rejected this order block or this is fully like mitigated. Either way, I just don't really like an entry here. So if we come back down at some point and we get a brand new setup, I'm in. I don't think I'll be taking a shot at this just in a free fall or anything like that. I would want to see it kind of give us something. I feel like eventually it would just like work its way down to here. Maybe we get one of these guys and then, you know, we get our entry or whatever. But this is kind of what I'm looking for with oil for buys. Sells, not in the market for sells yet. There is this huge move that we got way over here. So this is one that we could wait for. Had a big pump up here before it all crashed down. So this one makes sense. You know, let me see if I can record a video like this on TradingView real quick. Let me see if the quality of this is better compared to what we just tried doing. Okay, so oil, pretty much textbook setup. This clears liquidity. We can go to the 4 hour so you can see it. Takes out weeks worth of liquidity, fills in balance, and then just bleeds out. So pretty straightforward, right? We're looking to mitigate, to close out this huge buy position. Where within this range would make the most sense? Trading within this imbalance here and this previous level of like support, rejecting out of here is solid. Pretty big stop. So maybe you get another small time frame set up there before we get the short. So something like that might make sense. And then more than likely you can get a decent swing trade out of that. Stop exits would be somewhere in here, would be a conservative exit on the way down from this area. So yeah, it looks solid to me. All right, it looks like, I think the quality on this is actually better. Okay, I think this is better. You guys can let me know. But this does look better than it did with the pound video. So, all right, we got oil. This is a 4 hour perspective. May get here with CPI data releasing tomorrow. All right. Trend analysis. Okay, cool. All right, we'll bring this now back to full screen. So I was doing that just for that recording. Let's see if that worked better. Okay, that's better. This thing is huge. All right, cool. Well, I feel better about that. And then here is the idea. So let's add this to our setups here. Dow doesn't want to come back apparently. Oil. And then here's a link to the video. All right. So video idea. Cool. Do you guys prefer that? Do you guys prefer like those video ideas? Is that useful to you? Let me know. All right, alert set there. So we'll get there when we get there. Let's see here. I joined TradingView apparently March 2nd, 2017. Cool. You guys, can you please hit this rocket button so you can validate my existence? How am I going to know my charts are good? All right. Let's see. Any interaction is good for me. I'll take whatever. You spoil us. Sweet. Why not, right? I took a sell at my entry point on YM and it hit a 90-point profit, walking away and preparing for CPI tomorrow. What was your entry on Dow? Like, what was your confirmation? This, like, did you just short in here? Like, you saw this guy right here? Because this is what I was seeing. Like, all right, we had a nice push to the upside before we got a pretty big drop. So was that it? Just kind of selling out of this last move before it took off. All right. Wow, this thing just bleeding out. Damn, didn't get a shot at this one. So we had a complete, liquidity sweep across the board, coming back into basically, that last order block before the market really went another push down. So we knew that this was definitely a key level for reversals, and then we were being mindful of and being patient with NQ taking out liquidity as well, as NQ was a bit slower to work its way up. Once we got to this point, though, then we had a shift in momentum where Dow came in with all the aggression in the world, while we had NQ slow way down. Way down. So, yeah, with that being said, I still want a short from here. I think we can get one. This is now, let's say, has done its job. And from here, I do think we can get still a short out of this range. Just going to see basically what does the market look like if it keeps trading down here. And then I have a question for you guys. Would you be open to buying NQ with this big sell-off before New York open and the continuation? Is this worth taking a shot at, or is this concerning? Some support that unfolded here. What do you think? I'm going to place an alert. I don't see myself taking this because of the liquidity here, but just interesting to see. Equal lows. Yep, that's what I'm thinking too. All right, so that covers that. Okay. All right, so I can unpin this already. Here are the setups. Make sure you're in the school community. Anyone here for the first time ever? Just like stumbled, tripped, and fell into the stream? Drop a 1 in the chat. Who's here? Who's chilling with us? Yeah, all right. So we're starting to see Dow more than likely takes out London lows. Honestly, probably goes for Tokyo lows too. I'm going to see. I have an alert here. Meanwhile, what's S&P looking like too? Similar? Cool. Okay. That takes care of basically energy markets, metals, majors, indices, etc. This brings us to crypto. Meme coins, mellow movement. Bitcoin rallying a little bit after yesterday's drop into the 106s again. Does Bitcoin give an entry here soon? Not so much. I think we could still go even higher for a short, but not loving anything here. Sol picked up some good momentum. It looks like things are picking up a bit more on alts, specifically Sol, though. Sol really pushed today. Bitcoin dominance got up to imbalance, structure. Still no break below any of these levels, though. And then let's take a look at stocks on the day. Webull, sub 11. Lucid almost at an entry. I want to see Lucid under 1764 for buys. Snap here. It's been choppy. We might see a break below and then a rip. Either way, I think this is good dollar cost average. Not too much going on, though, with stocks. All right, that's about it. Whoa, Beyond down another 20%. So we had the crazy pump, a little pump and dump action. I know, Nancy, you sold yesterday. Some more, I think. All right, cool. So, to wrap up the session, just to give some more context. With the way that Dow has worked its way down, cleared the lows on New York Open, if we can stay down here, I'm open to shorting Dow still. This, to me, looks definitely more like a liquidity sweep than anything. If we can hold it, maintain it. If it gets extremely volatile, it just flies right back up, I might reconsider that. But for now, I am leaning to shorting Dow way up here above 46,850. And then on top of that would be the rest of the ideas that I've explained over here. None of these seem to be too pressing, though. So set alerts and then live your life, basically. The only ones that may require more attention would be Dow for sells. That would be about it, though. Okay. Let's see. All right, guys. So we'll wrap up there. I mean, I feel like this looks weird. I don't know what's going on. Whatever. Anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of your session. Journal if you took anything, or if you got some pendings, get them there. Get some data for yourself, and then yeah, go have a good day. Take care, y'all. Peace.